Before we go, over in Kenya, tea has toppled the horticulture industry to become Kenya's top forex earner, bringing in 97 billion shillings last year. That's up 40% from the 69 billion shillings earned in 2009. So what does the future hold? Joining me from our Nairobi studio is Sicily Kariuki, the MD of the Kenya Tea Board. Sicily, thanks very much for joining us. Have you been reading your tea leaves? What does the future tell us about the tea market this year?
Oh, we certainly are looking to a reduction in production in Kenya because currently we have dry weather conditions that doesn't go too well for production. So we anticipate there's going to be a reduction to around about 350 million kilograms by the end of this year.
Well, if we go through some of the factors that actually contributed to the success last year, good weather was one of those. So, of course, a turn in the weather doesn't bode well. Also, stable foreign exchange rates and improved prices. Do you think we're still going to achieve the prices this year that we did last year?
We're looking forward and we are very optimistic that the prices are going to hold firm and that because of the anticipated reduction in production in Kenya as well as the other lead producing countries, we anticipate that we're actually going to have firm prices barring any negative movement in the foreign exchange, and the earnings will remain at pretty much the same level for the country.
What are you penciling in for the shilling this year? I see they're expecting a bit of weakness perhaps to come through, particularly as importers come back into the markets. Are you penciling in the mostly stable exchange rates for the Kenyan shilling?
We're looking forward. We're optimistic that there will be stability on that side.
Weakness in the Kenyan shilling, I'm sure, would be good though for the export sector, so making those prices a little bit cheaper for foreign buyers, wouldn't it?
Yes, you'd say that.
I mean, one of the problems, you were talking about the weather, and one of the problems that Kenya faces is that only 1% of land is irrigated. So this does have adverse implications for crop production. Also, 60% of your power comes from hydropower. Are these issues that are being addressed by the agricultural sector in Kenya?
Indeed, the issues you mentioned are taking center stage in terms of government policy at the ministry level, and yes, they are being addressed, and we have seen in recent times a lot of movement towards other sources of energy other than the usual power, and we are moving towards a lot of tea planting to have alternative sources of energy for firing tea.
I presume these are longer term issues though, so it's not something that's going to be resolved this year.
That's long term, but there's planning. There has been planning going on in the last couple of years, and we have seen a lot of producers moving towards tree production as well to make up for the energy requirements of the tea industry.
Cicely, perhaps just a quick word on some of the markets. I see Egypt remains your largest market. That takes about 21% of exports. Other big markets, Pakistan, the UK, Sudan, Bangladesh. Are you finding new markets, though, perhaps in the Far East with the emerging middle class coming through in China and India? Are you sending more of your production to those countries?
Yes, indeed. We have also seen growth in those markets, particularly in India, which registered a growth of about over 40% in the last 2 years. The same with China, and we have been engaging with importers in these markets, and we do think because of the emerging middle class and the interest that's moving towards health beverages such as tea, then we have seen there is need to develop these markets, and we are engaging on a routine basis. We also have markets such as Russia, CIS, and we are again engaging with the stakeholders in those markets.